Laguna Ascot wins an overpass down inside the last 100. He's nicely clear. All interest in the minors. Overpass, par for the course. Overpass. It's 4 for 4 at Ascot. Wins another Winterbottom.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got Walp in studio. Looking a bit rough, haven't had a shave, brother. What's going on? Mrs. Birthday, where'd you take her? What'd you do?
I work. Huh?
Come on,
And I took her to a bowling tournament on Sunday.
Oh, go away.
Just what you should be. No, I got nothing for you this week. I'm cast. It's just when do we get a week off? You keep telling me this show's going to end, and it just keeps coming at me.
Next week, last episode.
Okay.
Nah, it's got like bumper meeting. We've got Group 1 Northerly, we've got the Ballarat Cup, we've got a Rosehill benchmark, and a couple of highways to contest with this. So right in your sweet spot. Nico, you're loved up. You're going to take the bride away. Over to you first.
No, I've got a boys' weekend this weekend. So brushing Ballarat and heading down to Geelong for the weekend, which should be good. But yeah, I did the form for Ballarat, but never too good a day out of the yard down there, DK. So happy to swerve that one and come back for the last few meetings of the year. It's all wrapping up, isn't it?
It is, Nico, it is, but it never stops. I mean, it's just the amount of meetings. The amount of meetings just increases now too with all the, see, there's 2 meetings on Friday tomorrow at the public.
Three.
Three meetings on Friday with all the school, the Christmas party meetings planned now at the different studies, different places. So, but yes, never has it. But geez, another quiet week. What? Okay, tell them about this sport. It just keeps serving it up. Nico's Scooter couldn't nearly fit it all in the rundown here, but away you go, Scooty. Been a big week.
Yeah, well, we'll just go dot point format quickly, and if anyone has got any comments, they can just add them kindly. Chris Minns referred to ICAC over his non-disclosure of his meeting with friend Steve McMahon re the Rosehill sale. We've retweeted a thread. Mark Lathan's up and about. I don't know what he sprinkled on his wheat bix, but he's dropped about a dozen tweets of why he thinks Mr. Minns might have a case to answer for, given the allegations, and Minns denies it all. But big popcorn jobby that, given they're proceeding to try and push on for the vote to sell Rosehill. So that's a must-watch. The VRC, they've posted 24 million loss last week, as we sort of said, and now they've come out and sacked 15% of their workforce. So bit of fat trimming done there. And then Racing Victoria, turnover down 8%. Is anyone shocked? We've been probably talking about it for 2 years ad nauseum, and probably to the dismay of most of our listeners. Some would probably get bored of it and maybe fast forward the segment, but maybe the chickens are coming home to roost. But given the market percentage, how's it possible for punters to stay alive and turn over their money, given they're betting into worse markets? And I just assume that the powers that be just shrug their shoulders and go, oh, well, free bets are down, so that must be it. And obviously economic forces. But Tristan reports that his turnover's up and he's been betting less percentage, and he's obviously been betting his 110% promo markets on the Friday. So he's a little bit surprised that he's jetting off on holidays and wondering why he couldn't get a meeting with RV before he went away.
Couldn't get a meeting.
Well, it would have been a good story to talk to them about the shining lights.
A couple of points of difference that have increased his turnover.
He's gone up,
yeah,
and the rest of the industry's going down.
So he's trying to go back a little bit to old school bookmaking, which is what we want. Maybe not as competitive early as some, but late is when most people bet, and that's when he's sort of stepped up, plus your 110s, and he's holding more. Whereas the others are all trying to limit everyone that they want to limit and free bet everyone else to death. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's good to see a little, with your Lathams or your what's his name? The Rock. What's his name? Kanga.
Kanga. Yeah.
Kanga up there. Kanga. He's up there shooting a few bullets and promising change and talking about what is he championing industry people and smart. What does he say? Oh, it was last night. He was on fire too. So if you want to follow 2 accounts to get yourself up and about, Kanga and Latham are the 2. If you're interested in getting racing back to what we probably hope it does in the next little while before it continues down the dark hole that it's heading.
I'd like Kanga to make Wednesday racing great again. I yearn for the sort of the 10 or over 10 horse fields. Half at Sandown, half of them you can put at the Caulfield course proper. Pakenham's a big track. I know they're pursuing a lot of the night racing and stuff, but used to be a time, and it wasn't that long ago, I'd say 5 years ago, when the midweek Wednesday meeting used to be jam-packed and there was just runners coming out your ears. You could find...
There's got to be a reason for it, because New South Wales obviously look at closer than Melbourne, but there's got to be a reason. They put the rail in positions to limit fields. They obviously program it. There's a couple of maidens that are usually interesting. The rest of them are just nothing races, 5-year-old plus benchmark 72 fillies and mares yesterday. Like, what sort of a race is that? You're never going to get a decent quality field. So there's a reason why they're restricting Wednesday racing to a certain level and trying to restrict field sizes, whether it's just to boost Saturdays or what it is, and just try and have these, 150 horse fields for the meeting or what each week. I'm not sure, but it would be nice if someone came out and at least
told you why.
Yeah, exactly.
I think part of the reason is Pakenham and Cranbourne and the Moonee Valleys, and to try and bolster this twilight and the night racing Thursday, Fridays, and back ends of the week. But as a pretty big consumer of horse racing, I'm staggered that we can't have a second premier Saturday type meeting still on a Wednesday and still offer all that back end meeting racing. Like, if it has to come at the expense of Monday racing, like, so be it. Like, we've got just so much prize money and we just can't have a second premier meeting that everyone could look forward to like a Wednesday instead. It's just whittled away to average 10-horse fields and spread out over a couple of days. And the end result's just garbage and bulk scratchings and dual acceptances. DK and Nico, do you want to talk to this?
Oh, well, I think it's what you said there. Like, for us, the rusted ons, yes, we want it, and you personally wanted Scooters a rusted on, in it every day. But the fact of the matter is that the recreationals are the dominant punting group in the Caper now, and they're all working on Wednesday afternoons. They're all working, and they've got eyes on podies on Friday nights, lesser on Thursday nights, but definitely Friday nights. You speak to your mates or the people you see at junior cricket or people I know, they finish work on a Friday, they do whatever they do Friday night, and they're having a bet at Moonee Valley. So I'd love to see the turnovers differentials on these races now, because that'd be the reason why I'm tipping Nico. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think the Friday night quality is probably more what we used to see on a Wednesday, especially at Moonee Valley. They definitely have the quality fields, and it's probably just been spread out over 2 or 3 days. Pakenham had that Rich Maiden series where, you see a lot of good horses come out of that. So there's trainers sort of aiming their horses at, 3-4 different venues across the week where there's good prize money. So I think that's probably more of a reason. And then you look like yesterday, I think the Heath can only run 12 runners out of the chute. It might only be 10 around the circle races. So they've got a few Saturday meetings coming up. I think they have next week and Boxing Day at the Heath. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects turnover with smaller fields. I would imagine to have some impact, but yeah, that's probably the knock on that track, given that, a few of those races are very small fields. And yesterday it was probably, you could have run that meeting on a Tuesday and not really taken a lot of note of it. And Friday night's meeting probably has a lot more quality these days.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the big agenda is, because I can't see why, given the amount of money in the game, I can't see why you can't have both. You can't still have a great Wednesday meeting, because everyone's still a lot of recreational punters bet on they love betting on the big Saturday cards. And I thought the turnover was really good back in the old days with the big Sandown programs and on big genuine tracks with deeper fields, because all the studies that we did at Betfair and bookmakers were the bigger the field, the bigger the turnover. So, yeah, for me, it's perplexing. And I think the reason why it's pushed to Pakenham and the Friday night Moonee Valley is because they've deliberately done it that way to pump up those meetings. You can see all the future series and the way that they've propped up those meetings to try and get them going. I think that's great to do, but at the death of the Wednesday meeting, I think it's just arse up. And if they're looking for a solution, I'd try and make Wednesday a premier meeting again. If they must, I'd say do it on a twilight. But
Sydney don't have these meetings. So I don't know what the excuse is in New South Wales, because I think we probably have 20% of the Friday night meetings that Vic have, and we don't have any of the other. We have showcase country meetings. That's about it. So
yeah, because it's nearly dead and buried Wednesday racing in New South Wales.
New South Wales is definitely
gone.
It's definitely being noticeably handicapped on purpose. Yeah,
and from an attendance point of view, it's dead in the water down here too. I mean, Nico goes there. There was Jackson put up a photo, or someone put up a photo of Caulfield the other week, and they'd said there wasn't a soul there. But if you go to Moonee Valley on a Friday night, there close to the city, get crowds on that front lawn. Everyone's close. It's a stack of atmosphere. As I said, it's good. They pump them up. They're trying to get more people involved in the sport and more people at the races. So that'd be another reason for sure.
Anyway, the other one that's bubbling away is Lewis German, Michael Poy, Noah Brash, the betting scandal, and all the allegations around jockeys betting. And I guess it's in the realms of, race fixing as well, given that they're backing and laying horses, but Stewards are pushing for a 15-year suspension of punter Noah Brash, who's acted on behalf of these guys. But seems pretty crazy. Using Signal and then taking screenshots of the bet is just, I don't know, they've put themselves in and they're just completely silly. But I'd think that they should be getting similar type treatment and suspensions to DK Weir. I think that's what they've done is as bad.
If Darren Weir's not allowed back, he's can't.
Three of them should just be brushed.
The punter should be gone, and the jockey should be close to life. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Then do the police step in after this? I know this is the rules of racing, but this is definitely fraudulent. Falls in a way of fraudulent.
Well, it's race fixing.
Race fixing. They've got to step in. Look, this is as worst, like the worst you can possibly do in our caper is what they've done.
Yeah.
And organised and premeditated and completely. And then the punter bloke, like, whoa, he just, I don't know what sort of professional punter he is, but it's definitely not the brains trust operating with the brains trust. They couldn't have worked together worse to stand out more. Betting into markets that no one would be betting into in telephone numbers. You just wonder who was matching the other side. It was, the whole thing's pretty crazy. But yeah, like there's a few times, even with DK Wheel, a few of the things that were raised, you wonder why the Popo aren't involved in these sort of things, because it would surely deter people more from doing them in the future, I would think, than a warning off, especially for a punter. Like, there's ways around that for most people.
Yeah, it should get maximum, I think. Hang them out to dry, I would have thought. Let's push on to some of the racing, but quick look at the review mirror. DK, you're back in business. Princess Montecito, that was a pretty easy watch. Redbreast off the canvas.
Bit of drift in the market. 700 to 1 at the furlong. Told you to get out.
That's probably unders too. I've the Fire. Collett took it past the I don't know, like maybe Bathurst or Orange, and it's still won. So that looks like a sharp galloper. Nico, you're back on the board with He Proud, so that was an easy watch. And then I found Arapaho, and I was a bit filthy actually with my Perth tip, London's Image, the Pride of Jenny. I thought S. Parnham gave it a bit of a sore back there, just didn't let it go early enough to strangle it to death. He obviously didn't watch much of its tapes the last couple of starts, or the tactics there were just mind-boggling. 1,600 back to 1,400. Scratching my head when I saw that one, and the market smashed at 7 into 460, so almost got a result there in Perth, but 110% markets, just as I say how good they are. TopSport are going to put them in the paddock until Magic Millions time. So they'll come back the second week of January. So I think they'll roll from the second week of January, probably, I'd hope they'd roll through till halfway of the year, or at least till July. So I think they'll come back for the Victorian autumn, Sydney autumn, and then hopefully they just keep rolling for the remainder of the winter carnival, and they'll probably have another spell back in August. So good to see that Tristan has done that initiative, but I think just with lack of staffing and giving everyone a break and himself a bit of rest, I think they're just going to put the 110% markets on ice for a month, and that's probably understandable given, the run that he sort of had with it and giving staff a break. Nico, you're going to do Ballarat Cup, and you've got the Devonport Syntho, which is great stuff for Tas Racing. Walt, as I said, you got Rosehill, a little bit of rain around on Saturday itself. DK,
it's changing, is it? Tropic changing.
Yeah, but not a lot. And Nico's also got a little bit of rain on the day at Ballarat as well. You've got Moe Friday, DK. Gelagotis country. I've got the Group 1 Northerly, and I'm only going to do one race. It's I went through the support card, and for a Group 1 race day, they needed a little bit of work on that one, WA Racing, because I thought they were absolute stinker support races. So in protest, I'm only just going to do the Group 1. And TopSport Steam, they hit the board last week with New Energy. M. Zara was a 12 out of 10 to lift that one across the line. So big win there. DK, let's go to you first. It's Friday. It's Moe Race 3. It's the Purcell Painting Maiden 1,600 metre race. Mix It is the horse you like in the Enver. White, red and black. Yeah.
Third last here, while Jay Mott's up out on the short even money favourite outside the leader, 15 links in front of it. So it did draw 14 to 14 here. So Carling took her medicine, went back, got held up, gets out here with 150 to go, gives it doesn't get up with it with a whip till 100 to go, and steams to the line. This is a nice horse. If you go back early in its career, its first 2 starts, it steamed to the line as well. Then it sort of went to town, ran okay in a decent maiden, then probably had enough. Came back, trialled up, won a trial. This horse is much better horse than a Moe mile maiden horse, I'm telling you. This will win a Saturday racing time. There's not much to beat here. Kalani's a Peters, one of these Peters things that's come over from WA. They had 11 starts in maidens and whatnot over there. Give it to Johnny Leake. See if Johnny Leake can do something with it here. First up at a mile. The others are just limited mile maiden. It's Mr. Marigold, Van Gerwen for the locals, Delegatus, respect them in their home track. It's an improving type, but one paced. King Cordoba, the sort of first start of Price Kent, you always got to have a look at in these things. Well, easy to line up. Mix it towelled it in a trial. And Mick Kent's got one there, which has had 7 goes or whatever. So I was looking, so I knew Carleen unfortunately fell off the other morning at the jump out. So I thought, this is Carleen off sort of. We saw with Howlin' Rain the other day, on a lot of horses, good positive. Nico, Carleen off. She's not, I know she can ride a lot of wins. She's not really a punter's pal though. But he's gone and found Theodore Ladd to ride it, EJ. So Theodore Ladd, I did pot him one day early doors when he first came over at Yarra Valley, and of course he went and won by 4 lengths. Look, he's probably doing, now Carleen's injury, he's probably doing a bit of track riding there. EJ's loyal to his track riders. This horse, he's just got to just keep finding space.
Find the gaps.
Find the gaps, and it'll just take him where he wants to go. He's just got to find the gaps, and it'll just be stronger, get stronger and stronger. So, look, I'd nearly declare this if it had McLeod or something on it down there, but the jockey ranks a stretched a bit thing with Mornington and Moe on at the same time, 2 of my favourite joints. Mornington and Moe, 2 meetings running concurrently. This is the Christmas party sort of meeting. So, no, EJ's the punter's pal here. Trusting EJ. He took one to Moe the last meeting there. It pissed in that first start. I remember they proved or something like that. Where I was on Tartar Bell or something, and I see it's in the Moe as well at Mornington. I was tempted to, but it'd be nice and short. But
Pinstriped also broke his maiden at Moe as well. So he loves Moe, EJ.
EJ, yeah. So Moe, no, this is a nice horse. Mix it and follow after it wins here. Keep following it as it steps up in class, because it's a nice horse.
I like that, DK. His last win was back in May, led all the way. So he's 7 months between drinks here, one from his last 50.
Right. So now I've got a line through that. So I just said the same thing about, so as you can create your own narrative here. So I'd said the same thing about one at Wodonga last week, Coyote. I said, where had Moroni found this Connor Murtagh? Same thing, imported jock. He's won from his last 50. Well, it didn't stop the market backing it. Outside Princess Montecito, it was nearly best backed. And it just got caught wide in the run. So the market, I don't think, really takes a lot of big notice. I think they back more the horse's talent. I mean, this is like a P2 meeting. If these blokes are going to ride a winner, it's at these sort of meetings. So, no, trusting EJ here, and it's got a nice low draw, and this horse is a nice horse, so he's just got to keep it out of trouble.
Simple one to remember here. Moe race 3, number 3, mix it. So jockey just has to stay aboard to get the chocolates there. So DK's got a massive horn for that one. So make sure you watch it and follow it for sure. Ballarat on Saturday, Nico, and race 1. This is your sweet spot. Surprise, surprise. It's a 2-year-old race. 9 mil Saturday, and mostly morning of, so hopefully it doesn't fall throughout the card. But Aleppo Pine is the favourite here. Jai McNeil for James Cummings. Blue Jacket, Your Alley, $2.80. Never Enough Lego, $4.80. Hello Romeo, $5.50. High Strung, $5.50. Norse Warrior, $7. Different Gravy, $14. And much, much better the rest. Aleppo Pine, we're going to have a look at its jump out. And this is only a few days ago, Nico.
Yeah, so jumps the lead here in the Godolphin Blue. Never Enough Lego is in the Bulldogs colours, sort of 3 wide there in the Price Bloodstock, so he's another key runner in this race. But this Aleppo Pine, his first jump out at Flemington, he sat back in the field and was very strong to the line, and probably through the line was the best part of his work. And then here, they just put him straight on the lead, and just like the way he went about things, it's probably not until the last 200 metres where we see, I think it was Dry who's riding him, gave him a bit of a squeeze, and he really extends away from his rivals. This is a half-brother to Savatiano, who's a really good wet tracker, won a Expressway Stakes, beating Colding, and Valana, who's also a very good wet tracker. So he's well-bred, and just, this piece of work just here where he just extends away from Never Enough Lego, who's second pick in the market, and he's very strong to the line, and we even saw him be strong through the line in a jump out prior. So he looks a smart horse. Really like the way he went about it there. all his family handle the wet track, so I think that would be a tick for him on Saturday if it's a little bit wet. And I thought High Strong jumped out well at Cranbourne, but it is typical of that stable, isn't it, DK, where you get these big trial winners from Buston and Young in those colours that sometimes don't deliver on race day. So happy to stick with probably the best 2-year-old camp in Australia in Godolphin, and they look like they got a pretty smart one there. Should handle the track conditions and should be getting the job done.
Yeah, the fact that one's it's 280 and Never Enough Lego's 480, I just can't understand that. If you watch that trial, they've both met each other there. There is no way in the world. There I go, saying they'll say it haven't there. But it could possibly beat home it off what they showed there. Like it's one's steaming to the line, one's pulling up on the line. It's 250 and $8 or something they should be. So
Tristan, 2,000 each way, never let go, please. 2,000 each way, jeez.
That's it. No, the 2-year-olds, last week, Nico, what did you think about the 2-year-old race last week? All those first starts seemed to go good, didn't they?
Yeah.
Nurse and Cooper, they went well. I know yours ran fourth, but some of them can go really well this time of year, can't they?
Yeah, Patton probably helped him a little bit there as well. So I thought this was a pretty steady race, really, outside of the favourite. I think, what we saw in the jump out there, the second pick doesn't look like a superstar. And then outside of that, there's only one racehorse, which was Hello Romeo, who got the job done at Bendigo, but it was an okay win. He still did a bit wrong. And then the market's not really respecting anything else. So this probably could be steamed, I reckon, on race day, the Godolphin horse, and hopefully gets the job done.
This is just your wheelhouse completely. Has this got anything to do with the Magic Millions race, or did they just brush that?
They've brushed, I think. I think it's next week or a week after there's a Magic Millions race somewhere in Victoria.
Because they used to go around the wrong way and then they sort of got sick of it because it was a bit of an eyesore, wasn't it?
It was just way too hard. They had to move all the finish, the photo finish gear and the camera. It was a nightmare to set up. So probably just a too hard basket.
And the best ever ran when it went to the Magic Millions was about 10th. Like it just never worked out, did it? It was just too far away and it just didn't pan out. But I'll tell you, just before we move on to go, if it runs well where this show's not on, that thing that was coming home in the inside of Moroney's behind that thing in the trials called ETD. I reckon it trialled as well as Aleppo Pine then. So it'll be one to follow if it runs well. We're on break.
And racing.com don't have that jump out, so that was a little bit trickier for me to find. I had to pedal a little bit faster there. But you just go to Google and type in the horse and jump out and you should try and find it. So if racing.com haven't done their job, that's how you go to Google and try and put the horse name in and search the jump out there. So tricky one sometimes.
Sometimes Ballarat, if you click on the jump out and then you go to news and video, it'll always be in there. But sometimes it doesn't come up on the horse's form. So there's a little trick for the punters at home. It's usually in there. If you go to click on the actual jump out where all the stills come up and then news and video, you usually get it in there.
Yeah, it hurt my brain early this morning. Ballarat race 8 is the next one. It's the Global Turf handicap over 2,000 metres. Surprise, surprise, Nico, you like a book. Ruakaka Raider is the favourite here. Barrier 18, Stacky. Cindy Alderson, 440. Ambassadorial, $5. Savoir Fair, $5.50. Shaw, $7.50. Claim the Crown, $11. Shahir, $13. And then you got Bold Soul from the Paddy Payne Yard, 17, Independent Road. And then much better the rest. Horse you like here, you're sort of waxing with your High Am Proud form. And this horse was pretty good to beat it in the maroon with the white. Just angling clear now.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good line. You got Ruakaka Raider comes through and wins this race. You had Hurricane run well this race. He went to Sydney, claimed the crown. Not claimed the crown. Crying Gesture back in the field. She won out of this race. So there's a fair bit of form. And I thought this horse really showed good fight to win here. You're getting a bit of a price on Saturday because of the wide draw, but I was watching racing.com flashback, I think it was, of all the Ballarat Cup days that they've had, all the Ballarat Cups, and a lot of the time they do get away from the inside, and with a bit of rain, that could be the case on Saturday. So he'll need a few things in his favour from that wide draw, but just the way he tacks the line in all these races, he just looks like a proper horse for mine. I think the way he just keeps continuing through the grades and finding the line is that of a smart horse. It doesn't look a whole heap of form here. Ambassadorial and Savoir Fair out of a brutal run race at Cranbourne, like they just went way too fast there. They could potentially be flat. I'd probably be more keen to back Savoir Fair than Ambassadorial out of that race. And then outside of that, I thought that it was another race where it didn't have a lot of depth. There's a few horses at their best that could really sort of figure here, but I think the horse on the way up is definitely Ruakaka Raider. He's got to get a run still, but probably he probably will being only first emergency. And if the fence is a little bit off, then that will definitely help him. And I think any rain will help him as well. So I think he'd be a horse you'd like DK. He finds the line like your horses do. He just always seems to just attack it late. So yeah, I think he's a horse with good talent.
That's good. That's not easy to do for like those middle distance staying types to come through on the inside and sort of build their momentum and sprint through. I know it was a pretty solidly run race, but no, I've always had a bit of time for him, and I love fourth upping trip. And importantly, I know he's drawn the poor barrier, but this is going to be run to suit. And look at all the leaders here, Station 1 and Ambassadorial and all these things that love to go forward. So
and he stays right down the weight. Which
well, that's it. The 54's key, isn't it? So coming up in grade, but no, he's on the improve, and yeah, it'll be different. He'll get a different circumstance, sort of having to come around them and run down the middle, and that might really help him elevate. So no, I thought he had a good hope to knock him off high and proud the other day, so I can't see any reason to drop off him.
Yeah, I like him. I think he'll just eat up the 2,000 metres, and I haven't got as deep in the race, but I can see why you like it. And barrier 18 is the only sticky part.
But that's why you can get a price at the end. If he drew 4, he'd probably be 280. So happy to back him. And Stacky's flying. Like, he's probably the most informed jockey at the moment. There's a few that have sort of checked out at the end of spring, and I think he's the man that's capitalising on that.
Go Stacky. Too good. Ballarat race 9. It's the Cup. It's the TopSport Ballarat Cup over 2,000 metres. Poison Chalice is a favourite here. Craig Williams, barrier 15. 2 favourites here, drawn really wide. 480 Poison Chalice, Future History 650, Globe $9, Air Assault 958, No Deal Done 10. Barclay Square is still going, $11. Lady in Pink $13. It's a Wild Night 14. Young Werther 15. Miramasa 15. Torresino 21. And much better the rest. We'll go around the room. Free $100 bet. Who do you want to be on, Nico? Free $100 bet.
This is honestly, I think, the hardest race of the spring. I'd probably back Poison Chalice because he might have a little bit more upside than a few of his rivals. He gets him all the weights. I'm a bit sus on the Cranbourne Cup. Globe sort of had a bit of a picnic out in front. Air Assault couldn't get him. It's a Wild Night. I had a good crack up from the yard. I think he was the best horse in that race. If it was a mile, I'd probably declare it's a Wild Night, but it's 2,000, and he hasn't really had a lot of form at that distance range. Both of his last 2 wins have been at 1,400, so can he extend? You're getting a good price to find out at $12, but I think Poison Chalice on the back up, if those wider lanes are in play, you get Willow. They won this race last year, and this horse just seems to be putting it all together now. He was a horse that had heaps of talent early days, and a few of his wins early days were outrageous, and then he sort of dropped off a little bit, but now he seems back, and Pruska won this race last year with a similar kind of horse, so know the right horse, same colours, maybe they can go back to back. He'd probably be the one I'd back in an incredibly hard race.
DK?
Yeah, I thought President Chalice would be able to be, but Air Assault's the one. I like a bit of affinity with these Lewis horses coming over, sort of got the Gold Rush Guru right. I reckon it's just been wanting to step up in trip this campaign. Like when 2 ago, it just bolted in Adelaide, and then it was only coming back to the mile and the tight track that got it beat the other day.
It wasn't ridden to advantage at all there. Like
no,
it would have been better off making it a genuine test, like going up an eyeballing Globe than
so that's Frosty. So Frosty's probably right for the first time. He had stubby holders back on. He knows the horse really well, won all the races on it, knows how to rate it properly, get in its right comfort zone. So I like it. It's had those cracks as a younger horse at 2000 in the South Australian Derby, whatever it was. But no, I think it's drawn well. It'll tag the speed somewhere. And I thought Air Assault and Poison Chalice for me.
Well, there's no scratching, so you can't back them. Free bet?
Can't back Loft at 150s just because then if it wins, I get 15,000. No, I'd it's Air Assault's always been one of our horses. I'd be with DK.
Yeah, I just worry that there's might be a few contests for the lead here, and I think the leaders may crumble. I'll probably back Poison Chalice if I had the free bet, but not sure if I'd have my full 100 on it. I'm a little bit wary.
Full 100 free bet?
What?
Your full 100 free bet?
Yeah.
So you're sitting on the fence and
I'm at 60 on it.
Mythical free bet.
Yeah, I might have 60 on that, and
I have to talk to Lana about where she's locked your nuts up, mate. She needs to give you at least one of them back.
Yeah,
it was a sick beat last week for those who are on it, Nico, wasn't it?
Wasn't Chalice.
Oh, hey, what about that? Was
that the Zara,
it was
right?
Southport Tycoon and Greg Empire all over again.
Yeah.
He just got to steam home like
time.
Oh, unreal. Anyway.
You could see it 200 out too. It was just pain.
You can do that. No, I think he's the one. So no, and also I'll probably have the 100 on that if if it was a free bet. You can't split. You gilded me into it. But there's a couple of dangerous roughies depending on how the pattern is. All right, Walt, let's go. Your time.
Hang on. Better wake up.
Yeah, Rosehill, you love it. 4 mil Friday, 2 mil Saturday, and race 3, it's the
Did
highway.
you say 4 million Friday, 2 million Saturday? What race have we got on Friday? We got the chick
Well-
dance or something? What have we got on?
Nothing.
Oh,
Got nothing.
sorry.
It's the first time you haven't got anything. It is surprising that there's no mile that's worth $2 million on the card.
There should be.
There should be. There's been 800 of them, so why stop now? Race 3 is the highway handicap, 1,500 metres. In Summer's a favourite, 460. Villasaurus will do $5. Land Bay $5. Sunshine 7. Ever I Do is $7.50. Adolphus 11. Maritz Girl $15. Prancing with Fire 17. Coella $17. Replay we're going to have a look at here is from the Kemmler meeting where it was rock hard, and the two you like here is Lambay in the yellow and red, sort of looming up.
4 wide, 5 wide.
Yeah, and the other horse you like is in the
White face.
yeah, right down the outside.
Yeah,
the blue and
so-
red.
They went 100 mile an hour in this, and Lambay's at 3 and 4 wide, closer to the speed, and Ritz Girl's at 76 wide and sort of midfield. And you can see her coming home down the outside. She's been a victim probably her last 3 starts. Lambay sat wide in a highway, I think, against Villasaurus, and then went to Gundagai or something like that, bolted in, then came back to a highway and was given the wide draw. So we've the two big changes there, sort of Pat's course off, Lambay, Hippo goes on, and Junior Burger comes off, Maritz Girl and McAvoy goes on. So first time either of these horses have seen a rider for a while, and both seem to be flying. Villasaurus is dangerous, was pretty dominant first up. 5 weeks between runs, swaps an inside draw for gate 9. So you could nearly chop on it if you want to. If it's sort of got a good ride, it's probably the other horse. But I thought Ever I Do, Sunshine, 1,500 probably sees them out in summer. I'm not a huge opinion of it either. So just went looking for horses that sort of were unlucky in that race, or sort of had to work a bit harder than they should have. I thought that they sort of stood out, those two horses, especially Ritz Girl just seems a silly price. I'd expect it to start sort of $9-10, even with the wide draw, because there is quite a bit of speed here. And if McAvoy sort of pops in and gives it a bit of cover, the horse won't know what hit it. It'll be very hard to hold out even around Rosehill. But yeah, it's a tough day to find targets. It was probably the second race of the two. It was a 50-50 sort of race, but I do think they'll both run well.
Couple of odds, Valspar or 5 Rings. Give any of those a chance?
Yeah, I think they fall into the sort of need other horses to have a poor luck and them have all the favours. Yeah, it's kind of that's how I usually describe those horses. But not hopeless. There's not much between them. A lot of them. It's and these races often do funny things happen. But I think they need a bit of help.
How do you reckon the pattern will be on Saturday?
It just depends how much rain comes, but usually you sort of just want to be up there by the 400. Don't want to be giving them too big a start at Rosehill. The less rain there is, the better the fence will be, and sort of closer to speed and inside you want to be. And even if it does rain a bit, you can sort of come from midfield a bit more. So I'd be happy if sort of that 5 to 10 mil of rain arrived for both these horses.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's have a look at Rosehill Race 5. It's a Canadian Club handicap, 1,500 metre event again. Shangri-La Spring 270, Fiddler's Green 320, Darling Downs 480, Ravello 750, Zondi 9, Bright Red 11, and then you got Rezone $15. Price Kent starting to get a lot of runners up there now they've opened their stable, but Shangri-La Spring is the horse that you like. Gaze had this at the provincials. Here it is out in front.
Yeah, so it led and dictated here. Hawkesbury, that's a good place to be. It led and dictated at Kembla as well, but I just loved he sort of half gave him a squeeze at the 800 and he pissed off, and I think he half surprised him how quick he went, and then the horse kind of got lost up the straight. And if you watch from this point on, when he sort of gets stuck into him, he runs about the 6th fastest last 200 of the day. So, he really pins his ears back that last 100 and puts him away even when he looked like he was having to think about it, and they might get close to him at the 200 metre mark. So, yeah, he's typical Gaze. Looks like he's going to get full control here. How much, he's only 3rd up, so you'd expect him to sort of still be on the upward spiral. As I said, he looks like he gets full control, which is what I want coming from sort of Hawkesbury lower grade up to better grade here. You want to get similar conditions, which he should get. Fiddler's Green was really good. First up with the blinkers off. Probably went too good. I'm really, it sort of surprised me how good it went with the blinkers off there. Dangerous, similar sort of price, but I'm just hoping this horse... It doesn't really matter, but probably the less rain that comes, the better for this horse, because it'll help the on paces a bit. But Timmy's got him a little bit mesmerised at the moment. When he sort of cruises to the front, they seem to sit off him and let him do his thing. So hopefully that happens again here, and Timmy's off and gone because I really just love the way that sort of horse quickened and then quickened again and greenness and yet still running away from him shows he's sort of got a lot of upside to me. So I think he's going to give a huge sight. It's $3-ish around. I think that's probably fair. I don't know which way it'll go, to be honest, betting wise. It's always tricky to work out horses coming from the provincials to the city, sort of what they're going to do. But Gays usually hold their spot in the market pretty solidly.
I haven't got a chance to have a look at this race. Any of you boys had a look down south, Nico?
No looking at Sydney this week.
There's no Melbourne horses that are going to come up and steal all our
Right, it is. Rezone. It's got a bit of form around Aztec State, around 2,000 metres.
Shouldn't that fella who trains that horse be worried about trying to win races in his own backyard rather than trying to win races in ours? What's he doing?
Where's that Price Kent?
Yeah. I love that he's declared 703 horses in a row. They've all got beat. Then he declared Wellwall can't possibly win, going around for a practice that this is in at 20. That made my weekend.
It is funny, isn't it?
Oh, he's a shocker.
What do you reckon about M Price?
He's great to listen to. I got been friends with horses with him and that, and he tells the truth. Like, it sounds like he tells the truth, but he's very hard on him. And no, I don't. He's been in the Cape a long time. Mick Price, geez, I remember he was a horse trainer back when I was a young fella living in Caulfield, and so no, highly respected. But they do have a pattern. Those horses, don't they, Nico? They're ready to go early in their preps, and they don't really get deep preps, do they?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Benny Lamb runs the Sydney stable, and he's doing a bloody good job. Their form up there and the way they're racing up there has been terrific. So, big tick for him because he's doing a fantastic job with their horses up there.
Just started out, going good. All right, that's Shangri-La Spring for Walt. So he's attacking race 3 and race 5. Hopefully he nails both results. Bris Vegas tomorrow, the Brizzy Show, episode 5. So halfway home for the summer carnival there. You've got the Bribey Handicap, they've got the Just Now, they've got the Tails. Tomorrow's show, we've got Donny, we've got Turbo, GK. Last week, they crunched one, Moonsweeper, 650 to 350, went forward, got the lot. And GK declared Hidden Wealth. Tristan bet $4 on the 110% markets. I think GK had it around about 230, had $1.60 after scratchings, and TopSport did their Chaminda. So that was good news as well. So they finally, I think we're finally going to get a dry track. So they've been working out of duress the last couple of meetings, given how bottomless it's been. So make sure you tune in tomorrow's show to watch that one. I think it'll be a cracker. It looks like a really good card there tomorrow. Group 1 Northerly, I'll have a look at this one. Weather Fine also here. And odds courtesy of TopSport. Interesting market here. Storyville has now pushed itself to favourite. The filly, 3-year-old filly, 5 into 460. Pike, gate 1, Super Smink 480, in from $8. That's been a big move by the look of it this morning. Attrition $5, Democracy Manifest 7, Light Infantry Man, disappointing last start, $9. Sox Nation, called the wrong horse across the line from Macaulay. Well documented that. Thought she went good though. $14 Numerian, fresh off the run in Sydney, $15. Casino 17, 21, Zip Away 21, Let's Gallivant 26, Bustler 31, and much better the rest. So let's have a look at the railway as one of the key lead-ups here. Port Lockrow really good here. Zip Away's the horse I sort of like in the maroon and yellow. He's sort of 4 wide. He got checked at the start and now gets blinkers this time in, and that's a massive reason of why I like him. So he comes to the race 3rd up, and I just love the way he just never gives up through the line here, Zip Away, despite being ridden a little bit upside down. You can see Super Smink back on the fence, and Democracy Manifest is a complete forgive here. And this is the WA Guineas. You've got Storyville, got the earmuffs, and she's just starting to peel to the outside. You got London's Image, the tearaway, and she just gets into her work nicely and just rounds them up and finishes all over the top of them here. She's
this is the form for a Northerly.
Hey,
if this is the right form for a Northerly.
Well, she's down to 50 kilos. Got barrier 1 Pike. I think she can map midfield. I'm a little bit worried about the quality of the Northerly race. Like, you've got the Eastern Raiders, you've got Numerian, you've got Democracy Manifest, you've got Attrition. like they're decent horses, but they're pretty like well found in the market. Like sort of $5 about attrition. He's at a trial.
Why is it not favourite?
That's right.
Well,
Yeah. Oh,
he's
Is
had
it not 6 to 4?
it's the winner.
Yeah, sure. Well, surely.
Yeah, I'm happy to bet around. I'm happy to back Storyville and zip away at the price. I concede, yeah, attrition's got a chance. Democracy Manifest, it's going to be buried back in the ruck, but I think attrition still needs a good ride. I wouldn't say it's completely over the line.
Well, I couldn't take 50 Storyville. I don't. Sort of suits me.
Well, she
I
should
don't
be
think Democracy
undefeated.
Manifest runs 1,800 off a cliff.
Mm.
It's just a weird looking rate. Numerian's the one that's dangerous.
I think, yeah,
It can
$21 was a big price. It's now crunched into $15, but yeah, I still think Zipaway's got some improvement. And last year, I think with Dom DeShoot and Zaki, I think Zipaway finishing like a blanket finish with them in an 1,800 metre race over there. So he's the way I want to play at $21. But I can see that attrition should be clear in the market. But my big worry with Super Smink is, I'm just not sure that he runs a really strong 1,800.
Most of them don't. That's the upside of your attritions and your Numerians, I think, more than anything.
Mm.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nico, you had a look?
Yeah, I did, and I sort of agree with a few of the panel. Like, attrition seems like he's the one, but it's a fairly steady race. Like, I think Port Lockroy winning the race and then winning the railway and then not running in the Kingston Town or the Northerly, whatever it is, shows that probably the reflection of this race, given where it sits with the Ingham and a few other races, that there's just so many other options for these horses. Like, in the years gone by, probably would have just stayed there. So, don't know what they do. Like, they're just a victim of everyone else pushing their carnival back, Perth. Like, they've been there forever, and they're the ones getting probably hurt the most with their field quality. So, do they put more prize money into them? Don't know if it would make a huge difference. So, feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest, because it's not a Group 1 at the end of the day. Like, that can't be a Group 1 race.
No, so that's why.
Well,
It's not. Yeah.
well, everyone's just cannibalising each other, which
that's
is not a real
unfortunate,
win for anyone.
So yeah, speaking of that, along those lines, with the Group 1 horse, I mean, attrition's the proven Group 1 horse, he's flying. I actually had something on him in the 5 Diamonds. I never took my eyes off him. He just had no luck at all. He couldn't build momentum. When he did momentum, got his momentum going, he ran up their asses. Before that, he beat Kovalika. He's got a win over Antino in that Toorak handicap.
And some of his best runs have been travelling. Like, he ran really well in Adelaide, well in Sydney. So he's
And I was reading,
versatile.
Mitch said he's loving it. He's loving travelling. So, and importantly, he gets Bo back on. So Bo's going over to ride him. Map barrier 5. Hopefully, he will build momentum this time. So, I think there's plenty of ticks for attrition here, Scoot.
All right, now it's time to look at Friday with Devonport. Nico's cast his eye over the synthetic meeting there, thanks to Tas Racing. And race 3, we haven't got any markets, but Nico reckons he's found one here, and it's like a Calyx. Have I said it right? It's in the yellow and green, and wow, I can see why you like it. It's back in the field, but just pulls its way, and wow, something beat here, Nico. The 4.
Yep. So debut runs up 4 and 5 wide the trip and charged the line, and then again here gets shuffled back to near last on the bend. Gets a gap here, but then look at the way he just attacks the line. This was 1,150 metres. Now he's up to 1,350 metres. This trainer does have a pretty good strike rate on the Devonport synthetic. She goes at about 11% sort of for her career, and on the synthetic she goes at 17. So the horse has definitely improved, and he had his first run on the synthetic where he probably should have won, and then last start there you could probably make a case he should have won that race as well if he had any more luck down the side. So I think he's quite a smart horse, just like a Calyx. Didn't really see much else in the race. I'm happy that Tuskegee is still in. He only gets 54 kilos, and he started short price favourite. His last 2 runs, he started $1.60 and then $2. So hopefully there's a bit of that holds a bit of weight in the market. Yeah, and he can go up quite short, and we can get a bit of a price about this horse, because I think 1,350 metres, bit like DK's horse at Moe. Just going to need to find the gaps. It'll be might be a covered job, this one. Just bet up and just listen to the radio or something like that, because I don't think it'll be a pretty watch, but the horse knows how to attack the line, and if he finds any luck, should be winning.
Bullant Muchu is the job. He's a man for a job. If you've got instruction, you give him simple instructions. A good mate of mine down in Tassie uses him a lot and backs him with confidence. When he's got to get a job done, Bullant Muchu's the man.
Bullant on.
Hey, put the Bullant on. I love it. I love it, Nico.
Full faith in
It's
the
going to
bullet.
definitely, it's going to be a cover job, but wow, it'll take.
To be fair, the Tassie riding ranks are very thin at the moment.
some beating.
Like,
All right, Devonport race 6 is the next one. It's the Golden Mile over 1650 metres, and you're going back to a sweet spot here. It's a sweetheart of the show. It's Sharma's last, and I thought this win was absolutely massive. Switched off, came around him, and just bullied him here, Nico. Erica Burnburt.
yeah, the only knock with on Fridays, he has to carry 59 kilos, and most of the other field has 54. But I think he's got a real class edge on his rivals. The second horse here, Cartoon Graveyard's the only danger. He probably should have finished closer, given the apprentice didn't get a lot out of him late. But that horse will have to go back from the wide draw and keeps the same rider, which I think is a big negative. Sharma's last is airborne this campaign. He's unbeaten. You probably could make a fair case he should nearly be unbeaten at Devonport. He was sort of run off the track one day, and the only other defeat was in a pretty strong race. So this race, like I said, Cartoon Graveyard, I think is the only horse to beat, and that horse should have some map problems, and Sharma should just be able to get the dream run, similar sort of ride from America where she just lets him build his momentum. And I think he'd probably be aiming towards the Devonport Cup, which I think is in early January. So this looks like a sort of stepping stone for him. As the weight's the only problem, but you do see in a few of these races where the market can be a little bit against these horses with the big weights. So I'm hoping that's the case, and maybe you might get $3 instead of $2.30 or $2.40 or something like that with the weight. And I think just the class edge that he has on his rivals, it should be pretty significant here. So pretty keen. I think it's a good meeting down there at Devonport. Probably one of my favourite tracks to bet on. Usually races fair, and if there's tempo on the races, you can win from anywhere. So I'm glad they're back in action. It's been a bit tough going at Launceston this season with a few biased tracks. So keen to get back to Devonport, and keen to bet up on those two. Think they should both be winning.
Outstanding. And Tas Racing's Carnival really kicks off next Wednesday night. You got the Conquering Stakes, so a few of the big guns will be racing there. Make sure you check out their website, tasracing.com.au. It's a pretty good hub for doing replays, and you got the nice small pool of horses. So Nico's got plenty of the form, so make sure you follow Nico's account, because he tips throughout all of the cards, and it's going to crank right up for the next couple of months. So make sure you support Tas Racing. All right, some big bets. New Energy got to the line last time for the TopSport early action, and the first one is a unanimous tip from you boys. Ascot race 8, number 2, and it's attrition $500 to $5. This next one's against you, Walt. Race 3, number 14, in summer, $4.50 at $5.50.
Just ask me if they want it again, Tristan.
Race 5, number 7. Darling Downs, $4.50 at $5.50.
That's against me too. I thought it was a camel until last start. It went a lot better than I expected, but I'm hoping Timmy's off and gone, and I think Fiddler's Grace is a danger. I'd be taking it on as well.
Rosehill race 6, it's all you, Walt, sorry. Modesty, $500 at $5.
Named after me. It's a nightmare horse. Improved second up. Honest, but don't know how much upside it's got. It's got a good chance. I haven't spent a lot of time in that race, to be honest.
And the next one is Adelaide, and it's race 3, number 1, and it's Scrota's Mistake. Nearly Scooter's Mistake, 2,000 at 2.10, and this is Rochelle Milnes for Clark and O'Shea's, and that's now into $1.90. It's got to be a horse called Walk Like an Angel, and Hard Prince first up, and Brave Man's Game. Not sure.
Into a smart one last start. It ran into Top Caliber from Alex Ray stable. It goes pretty well. So it's pretty stiff to bump into him in an O Metro win race. But probably should be getting the job done off that form line.
$1.90 now. All right, that's the lot.
Just a lot.
That's the lot. That's the show. It's done. So what do we got? Is it the Ingham next week?
Are you seriously asking me that? I just had to look up the rules for today, mate, because this Coffs Harbour on today. I just worked that out. I'm not a week in advance. What are you talking about?
Donnie texted me yesterday. He reckons he goes, mate, I'm knee deep in race 6 at Coffs Harbour. Have you got to it yet? What do you reckon my answer was? No, it's 1,000 metres camper.
If it rains 3 mils overnight at any of these meetings, they're off. So if you spend 5 hours doing the race, you just dead set want to jump off a cliff every second day at that area. So good luck to the Don. I'm sure he would have stepped in before he said anything to you anyway, because he does like to be first in, best dressed.
He's absolutely sick. So knocking himself on a maiden plate at Coffs Harbour on a Thursday, but he'll be on tomorrow's Brisbane Vegas show.
He's back the Dykey thing. I know what he's on. He's a sick man.
Very sick. DK, have a great weekend. Hopefully get the chocolates at Moe. And Nico, boys weekend at Geelong. Wow. Perfect spot for a boys weekend.
Should be good. Hopefully there's a bit of a Friday fill-up with our tips there and we can launch into the weekend.
Tell your lad into B Muchu. That'll be it. Get people going for the weekend.
Oh, what a double. All right, we'll see you next week for our last Melbourne/Sydney Carnival/Bet Doctor show, our regular show. But the Brisbane show will race all the way through until Magic Millions. So we'll see you next week.